Hello beautiful beings, welcome back to my channel. This is video number 2 out of the Prayer, the Art of Believing book club series. We're going to be reading from chapter 2. Before we begin, I remember that in a few videos back, I mentioned that I wanted to have a community tab so that I could communicate with you guys in an easier way, and I hadn't reached the quota that I was told that YouTube told me I needed to have a community tab. And I was like, okay, so when I get it, I'll communicate with you guys. And it was so funny because literally a day later or 2 days later, Netflix sent me a notification that I got a community tab. And I got a community tab before I even got the 1,000 subscribers, which is amazing and a very cute little manifestation. So I left you guys a first little message on the community tab letting you guys know if you had any questions. So I'm going to be doing that every week prior to the next chapter dropping. So once again, we're reviewing Prayer, the Art of Believing by Neville Goddard. This is my copy, and this book is from Merchant Books if you guys want to purchase it. I got mine through Amazon, so my Amazon links are not working right now, but in the near future, I'll have a way for you guys to purchase them directly. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so chapter 2. Dual nature of consciousness. A clear concept of the dual nature of man's consciousness must be the basis of all true prayer. Consciousness includes a subconscious as well as a conscious part. The infinitely greater part of consciousness lies below the sphere of objective consciousness. The subconscious is the most important part of consciousness. Let me repeat that again. The subconscious is the most important part of consciousness. It is the cause of voluntary action. The subconscious is what a man is. The conscious is what a man knows. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. The conscious and subconscious are one, but the subconscious is greater than the conscious. So let's discuss that little part first. So he says that a clear concept of the basis of true prayer is understanding that within your mind, you have a conscious and subconscious mind. It is crazy to go into this manifestation world, into this thoughts create your reality world, without fully acknowledging how powerful your subconscious is. How much more powerful your subconscious is versus your conscious mind. Well, he's trying to drill the importance of you understanding the difference between the conscious and the subconscious mind. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. Your Father would be your subconscious mind, right? I think that's pretty obvious. Okay. So it continues. I of myself can do nothing. The Father within me, he does the work. I, my conscious mind, can do nothing. The Father, or your subconscious mind, within you, he's the one that does the work. my objective consciousness of myself can do nothing. The Father, the subconscious, he does the work. Same thing I just said. The subconscious is that in which everything is known, in which everything is possible, to which everything goes, from which everything comes, which belongs to all, to which all have access. Your subconscious is everything. Your subconscious is where your manifestations come from. They don't come from your conscious mind. They come from your subconscious, which is why it's so important that we reprogram our subconscious mind, because that's where everything comes from. What we are conscious of is constructed out of what we are not conscious of. Because we have explained before that what we do subconsciously is below the level of consciousness. Subconscious is your habitual mind. And you do things habitually without being conscious of doing them. Not only do our subconscious assumptions influence our behavior, but they also fashion the pattern of our objective existence. Sorry, my nose. This is me, my whole life, my nose. They alone have the power to say, "Let us make man objective manifestations in our image, after our likeness." The whole of creation is asleep within the deep of man, and is awakened to objective existence by his subconscious assumptions. This one's really good. I'm going to repeat it again. The whole of creation is asleep within the deep of man, and is awakened to objective existence by his subconscious assumptions. You literally carry the universe, the whole world, and the universe inside of you. That is the reality of what your subconscious mind is. It is the power of creation. And your world is ever being molded by your subconscious assumptions. Within that blankness we call sleep, there is a consciousness in unsleeping vigilance. And while the body sleeps, this unsleeping being releases from the treasure house of eternity the subconscious assumptions of man. So I think this just, guys, I have sleep meditations on my channel, and I have them on my channel for a reason. When your body is sleeping and your consciousness is sleeping, your subconscious is wide open. Your subconscious doesn't sleep. Your subconscious is fully open. While you're sleeping, it is the most open it is, because it's not being constantly, how do I phrase this? Your consciousness is sort of like the gatekeeper. It's the one that it's, that is always like, oh, this is not true. Oh, this is hard, and rejects. When you're trying to manifest something, it basically can reject the new story that you want to put in. The conscious mind does that, because it's the thinking mind, is the mind that is so objective. Because we know in the subconscious mind, everything you put gets accepted, either false or true. It doesn't matter. It just accepts it, and upon acceptance, it creates it, right? So your consciousness is the gatekeeper, and while you're sleeping, your consciousness is asleep, leaving your subconscious fully open. So I think that kind of answers the whole, the sleep meditations really work. Okay. I get so excited I get off track, but Prayer is the key which unlocks the infinite storehouse. Prove me now herewith, said the Lord of hosts, if I would not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Prayers modifies or completely changes our subconscious assumptions. And a change of assumption is a change of expression. Expression is what you're expressing, right? What you're expressing is your 3D. Everything in your 3D are the expressions of your assumptions. So you change your assumptions, your expression shifts. The conscious mind reasons inductively from observation, experience, and education. It therefore finds it difficult to believe what the five senses and inductive reason deny. The subconscious reasons deductively and is never concerned with the truth or falsity of the premise, but proceeds on the assumption of the correctness of the premise and objectifies results which are consistent with the premise. I know that one can be a little. But basically, what this says is same thing I said a few minutes ago. Your subconscious doesn't care what you put on it. It doesn't argue. It doesn't fight you. It doesn't fight you and be like, oh, this new story that you're trying to create is fake. Your subconscious mind doesn't do any of that. It is never concerned with the truth or falsity of the premise. The premise would be whatever you're trying to do, but proceeds on the assumption of the correctness of the premise and objectifies results which are consistent with the premise. Which are consistent. That means that there is not one time where you are able to impress your subconscious mind that you will not be able to get that manifestation. It's like a machine. You impress it, it creates. Impress creates. Impress creates. This distinction must be clearly seen by all who would master the art of praying. Not true grasp of the science of prayer can be really obtained until the laws governing the dual nature of consciousness are understood, and the importance of the subconscious realized. This distinction must be clearly seen by all who would master the art of praying. If you were to master the art of praying, if you were to master the art of manifesting everything that you want in your life, you must fully understand the distinction between your conscious and subconscious mind. That's it. And that you understand and that you pay reverence to how the importance of your subconscious mind. Prayer, the art of believing what is denied by the senses, deals almost entirely with the subconscious. Through prayer, the subconscious is suggested into acceptance of the wish fulfilled, and reasoning deductively, logically unfolds it to its legitimate end. Far greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. Through prayer, through meditation, through visualization, the subconscious is suggested into acceptance of the wish fulfilled. And reasoningly or not, logically or not, it goes about unfolding to its legitimate end. So it goes about unfolding and creating your manifestation. The subjective mind is the diffused consciousness that animates the world. It is the spirit that giveth life. In all substance is a single soul, subjective mind. Throughout all creation, excuse me, throughout all creation runs this one unbroken subjective mind. Thought and feeling fuse into beliefs, impress modifications upon it, charge it with a mission, which mission it faithfully executes. I think this is really important too. So we know, what is this word I'm trying to find? Your subconscious mind is the power of your I am. It's also the power of everyone's I am. And we're all connected. That is why everyone is you pushed out. So when you impress your subconscious mind, you create modifications on it, which means you create a change upon it, or you erase an old story and put in a new one, and it faithfully executes it for you. The conscious mind originates premises. The subjective mind unfolds them to their logical ends. So the conscious mind is the one that decides what they want, and the subconscious mind is the one that brings it about. Were the subjective mind not so limited in its initiative power of reasoning, objective man could not be held responsible for his actions in the world. Man transmits ideas to the subconscious through his feelings. The subconscious transmits ideas from mind to mind through telepathy. Your unexpressed convictions of others are transmitted to them without their conscious knowledge or consent, and if subconsciously accepted by them, will influence their behavior. The only ideas they subconsciously reject are your ideas of them, which they cannot wish to be true of anyone. Whatever they could wish for others can be believed of them. And by the law of belief which governs subjective reasoning, they are compelled to subjectively accept, and therefore objectively express accordingly. I already made a video talking about this little piece, about how people cannot reject what you send them. That the only time they're able to reject what you send them is when you send them something that they could not wish for anybody else. And I used the example of violence in the other video. I had to go that far because I feel like it's the way for people to really grasp this. This is why you have to always do your best to think lovingly of everyone you meet, because you are just going around in your world continuously. You can't even stop it. You can't, even if you wanted to, you can't stop it. Continuously going around sending subconscious messages to people that they express. The subjective mind is completely controlled by suggestion. Ideas are best subjective when the objective mind is partly subjective. That is, when the objective senses are diminished or held in abeyance. This partly subjective state can best be described as controlled reverie, wherein the mind is passive but capable of functioning with absorption. It is a concentration of attention. There must be no conflict in your mind when you are praying. Turn from what it is to what ought to be. Assume the mood of fulfilled desire, and by the universal law of reversibility, you will realize your desire. So he's basically telling you here how to go about praying correctly. So I'm going to try to link a video somewhere where I speak about the God state or I aming, as Neville talks about it on his book At Your Command. We're also going to be reviewing that book soon because that's my #1 favorite book from Neville. He explains how you have to go within and you have to kind of like I am first and then bring in your affirmation or your scene. So here he's telling you that you have to diminish all of your senses. So what does that mean? It basically means that you will, for example, to put it practically, you will go to your bed or you would sit somewhere quietly. You would close your eyes, right? That's already one less sense. It might be even helpful to put a blindfold in so no light comes through. So let's say light. You don't want to be too cold or too hot. You want to try to diminish as many of your senses as possible. What I used to do, and it's so silly, I haven't done it in such a long time, but maybe I should go back and do it. I used to sit on the floor on top of a rug, and I wouldn't want to get too cold or too hot, but I would turn on the fan so it sort of acts as a, sound diffuser so I don't hear any of the background noise. A noise canceling machine. And because the fan will be sort of hitting me, I would get kind of cold, so I would actually wrap my head, throw like a sheet over my head, right? And I would put my headphones in so I could listen to a meditation, and I would put a blindfold in. Then I would go through a breathing sequence, and I would start I aming for a few minutes. And there is a meditation coming out this week that is going to include I aming. I have already started breaching it into some of the meditations because I aming ahead of your scene is very, very powerful. So you are to I am for a few minutes, and what that does is that further detaches you from your outside world. It helps to clear your mind so that you're able to better focus, to concentrate your attention to one single goal, which would be whatever you're trying to manifest. And you assume the mood of fulfilled desire, and by the universal law of reversibility, you will realize your desire. I realized this video was a little longer, but this chapter was a bit longer than the first one, and I really wanted to try to, break it apart as much as I could so that it was more understandable for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're reading ahead of me, let me know any questions you might have regarding the chapter or regarding this chapter. As always, I am here for you. I am still offering coaching. If you guys are interested, my information is in the description box below. As I've mentioned before, I work with a lot of people that have had trauma. Just because that is my background, that is sort of the things that I've had to overcome to be able to be where I am. And I know how to go around it. So if you want to give it a chance, try it out. I love you guys. I am here for you. I believe in all of you. And until next time, bye.